Hey, I'm Jesse McCartney, coming to you directly from Perez TV.
She's a miracle. She got everybody talking. She don't care at all. Watch the
Yeah, so when writing this album, I knew that I wanted to make something that was a reflection of what I grew up listening to as a kid. A lot of 60s and 70s pop music, Michael Jackson, Prince, Earth, Wind & Fire. And I feel like Superbad, definitely you can hear hints of that. Lyrically, it's just about being with the baddest chick in the entire world. And it's a very simple song production-wise. From the bass to the drums to those funky guitars, that's really it, and the vocals. And I feel like it's just a really good reflection as to what the rest of the album sounds like. One of the most fun parts of making an album is getting to shoot the visual part of it. I wanted to do a video that was really sleek and sexy and that really complemented the song. We rented this beautiful house up in Beverly Hills. There was hardly any furniture in it. It was just this beautiful pool in the backyard. We hired this amazing actress, Hillary Cruz, who played my Superbad girl. One of the most fun parts was actually getting to dress her. I had a big hand in choosing all of the fashion for not just myself, but for her as well. She wore a lot of jumpers, like the 70s jumper, the Sharon Stone from Casino kind of look. And so it was just a lot of fun being able to create that. And it was really my first time. It was the first time for me that I had such a creative say in the video process. I really hope to at some point even direct one of my own videos. I've been around the camera so many years now and been on set that I really do know how it all works. It's just having the confidence to say this is the shot. There are no collabs on this album. It's just myself and the amazing musicians that I worked with. I did collab with some writers though that you guys might know, Hot Chelle Rae. Originally we were writing for their album, and one of the songs, Back Together, was originally intended to be for their album, and about halfway through the writing process I realized this song is really perfect for my album. So I called Ryan the next day. I'm like, hey, before we go in and finish this, is it okay if I take this song? It's funny. It's a common question. Do you wish you kept Bleeding Love for yourself? And it's hard to get mad at the result. I mean, as much as I don't necessarily think that a hit song is necessarily a hit song for everybody. Leona Lewis has one of the best pop vocal sounds, I think, in the last 15-20 years. I mean, she's really one of the best. There's very few women out there that can do what she does, and she really took that song to a whole nother dimension. And as much as I loved singing it myself, I think she really had a big part in making it the hit song that it was. The songwriting process is different for this album. For the most part, I would go into the studio with either a lyrical idea or just even a chord progression and say, this is what I think we should do. I really feel like doing an up-tempo song today, or let's do like a slower ballad, and we kind of start just from the basics. There's definitely a lot of BSing that goes on in the studio. Some days we go in there and do nothing. Like, we literally just sit around watching YouTube videos, or even Perez Hilton videos, to be honest. But when you force something, I think the audience can really hear it, and we just wanted it to be as organic as possible. Last summer, I had the chance to tour with the Backstreet Boys for the second time, actually. In 2005, I toured with them over in the UK and in Europe, and great group of guys. And, as a pop singer growing up as a kid, the Backstreet Boys were kind of the pinnacle, and it is interesting because their fans are a little bit older than mine, but there's definitely a crossover. I have some young fans, and then I have some older fans that are probably their youngest fans, so there's like a Venn diagram of the whole spectrum of Jesse McCartney and Backstreet Boys fans. The most recent fan encounter that I thought was really, really cool was one of our U.S. Marines. She actually invited me to the Marine Ball in Japan. And unfortunately, I was on tour and I couldn't go, but I just thought it was a really, really, just a nice gesture, and I really wish I could have gone because I absolutely support our troops. That's a big thing for me. And at the time, I had just finished, or I was just wrapping up Army Wives, which was a TV show on Lifetime where I played a young Marine myself. So I actually had a lot of questions for her, and we did a Skype chat, and I talked to her for a little bit. Well, part of the reason I took almost 4 years off between albums was to do a lot more acting. I did a film over in Europe, this thriller called Chernobyl Diaries, and I did do the last season of Army Wives. I spent 6 months in Charleston, South Carolina. I played Private Tim Truman, who was this young 17-year-old happy-go-lucky high school kid who leaves to go to war. and ends up experiencing what a lot of our Marines experience over in Afghanistan. So it was just an amazing experience. Definitely, I think one of my favorite roles to date. You know, I've been asked to do Dancing with the Stars a few times, and reality definitely has its place for some people, and you know, as much as I love the show, I don't know that I would look that good in spandex. Reality TV is a guilty pleasure, certainly for me, and I think everyone secretly watches it. But in terms of like having cameras follow me around all the time, I don't really know if that's my thing. I'm a pretty private guy, actually, and believe it or not, I'm kind of camera shy. I'm going to tour this summer, actually, and we're setting it up right now, but the fans can all expect a big tour. I think I'm going to head out by myself, do like maybe a club-type tour in the summer, so they can look out for that.